So this video is going to be a little bit different. We wanted to show what it was like to drive through the town of Mulegé to the campground. We had seen lots of reviews that talked about whether you should or shouldn't do it, and so we wanted to film our experience and share it with people to let them have an informed decision on whether their vehicle and rig can make it to the campground or not through the historic city of Mulege. So here's the path we took on the highlighted line here on the screen. You enter under the historic Mulegé arch and follow along. It was really pretty convenient that I was following a semi-truck because he was pretty large too, so it kind of cleared the way for me. It was pretty convenient to have that come in. So I just followed him along. You can see how tight the streets are. Believe it or not, that is a two-way street. Most of the cars are pretty generous. They get out of your way and they'll slow down and stop for you because you have to be able to fit through somehow. Lots of stop signs, speed bumps through town, keeps your speed down. Just something you have to be aware of. There's people walking out everywhere. I'm sure there's a dog that'll run in front of you. No one stops at the stop signs except for tourists. So just a typical day in Mexico. It's a very narrow street. The height seemed reasonable. There's no signs for what the power lines are. We're only 10 foot 2 inches tall to the top of our air conditioner. So if you had a taller rig, I'm not sure how it would work out for you. I think other people have taken Class A's down here and knock out the power lines. You would just want to double check before you just go blitzing through town to see if you're clear. I wouldn't recommend doing this by yourself. I would have a partner that can get out and look at any time instead of you having to get out and look and creep along, because your guide will help you get through the city, see how close you are to things. We are 48 feet long from the front of the truck to the back of the trailer. And if you were any longer than that, I would question coming through here. I'm sure you could do it, but you never know when there's going to be too many cars parked around a curve that you can't make it. And so you could get stuck having to wait for someone to maybe move. It could be incredibly challenging. The roads are very confusing. Here we are at a one-way that's not really a one-way. I didn't know what to do when that car stopped. I just had to let him go. And then it's pretty smooth sailing from here. There are definitely some blind corners here that you don't really know what's going on, but you just have to hope that if a car comes around the corner, they're going to slow down and stop and let you go, because you should be much bigger than they are. Once you see the river, you can kind of take a deep breath. It'll come around here in another curve, because then you're pretty much out in the open. It's a normal 2-lane road and you're almost to the campground. There's also some nice boondocking out to Lighthouse. So if you come through town and you're looking for a boondocking spot, you could park out there instead of staying at the campground. So here we've pretty much made it. We're out in the open now, normal width street. No more obstacles, no more twists and turns, no more blindness. No people running around, no dogs. Pretty straightforward from here on out. Just make a simple turn in the campground, and there you are. Here's the route that we took to get out of town. This might not be the preferred way. It's not the way our GPS said, but it's the way that we thought would work best for us. We did this pretty early in the morning to make sure that there weren't a lot of people in the streets. I believe this was a Saturday morning as well, but that shouldn't probably matter. It was first thing in the morning, 8, 9 o'clock at the latest. We want to get a jump on things before the city got busy. So same thing here. This section is nice and straightforward until you start to get into town. In case you're wondering, this video is not at normal speed. It's been sped up because this whole thing in and out took us about 15 minutes. Nobody wants to watch a 15-minute video of me driving. This part out of town was pretty smooth sailing. As you can see, there's not a lot of people. We did that intentionally. Just didn't want to have to see a lot of people. Here at this intersection, my GPS wanted me to take a right. Watch the dog. The right is a one-way, so don't go that way. Go left. And we continue along. This is pretty narrow. Sometimes you'll get cars stopped, not on both sides of the street at the same time, but you'll kind of have to weave your way through because cars will be parked on one side and then the other side. It makes it really, really hard to fit through. And that's where having a partner that can get out and guide you through will help. So this is a nice straight shot. Takes you to the end here. Lots more speed bumps. You don't have to worry about going very fast just because there's speed bumps everywhere. Watch the tall curbs. You don't want to hit one of those. I don't know what kind of damage they will do, but they're up pretty high. So here I had Nicole get out for me to take a look at the intersection because it's a tight turn. This is where our GPS actually says to make a right. We had already looked at the route. We decided to go left. This seemed like an easier route back to MEX 1. It's a straight shot. There you can see we're going to go under MEX 1. So here's this little bridge over the river. You know, I am not sure of the weight limit, so if you have a gigantic heavy rig, this might not be the way to go. But I've seen some delivery trucks and things go this way. Seemed fine. So we just cruise right along. Make a couple little turns. And we're right back on MEX 1.